guys? This is Larry and Jack from Quick Style Motorsports. Way market conditions are right now, we're getting a lot of calls about used bikes, things like that. So we thought it'd be a good idea for Jack and myself to jump on here and give you guys a quick overview if you're buying a used dirt bike, kind of what you want to look for and whatnot. So, Jack,
yeah,
you pulled up to a guy's house, saw the ad wherever you found it, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. What's kind of some of the stuff you want to look out for when you're buying a bike, man?
So the first thing I always look for is going to be wear and tear on the outside. It's going to be cosmetic, but boot wear on the frame and on the engine. So you'll see a lot right here.
You could zoom in on this if you want, just get a little idea.
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of boot wear right here. If it's a powder coated frame, it'll start to wear off a little bit. And then on other bikes, not at KTM's, they have plastic covers. But on the magnesium covers, you'll see the boot starting to wear through that coating on the outside. You'll see some discoloration, some patches there, here and there. The more it's worn, the more it's been ridden. Of course, older bikes are going to have more wear and tear like that. That's always my number one go-to. Always try and kick it. If it doesn't start, that isn't the end of the world. But when you're kicking it, you're just feeling for the compression. You're trying to make sure it's not just loose and it goes right to the floor.
Great point. And then so like when you actually show up to check this thing out, one of the things I've always done, you've bought a lot of used bikes too, is just give it a quick touch, man. You kind of want it to be cold. If the bike's warm, especially if it's like a 4-stroke,
yeah,
the guy's already been starting it, has it fired up and warm, kind of a red flag. You kind of want the motor to be cold, and you got to be cool when you're talking to these guys, right? You just can't come in and like looking it all out.
Yeah.
Kind of want to approach it with a velvet glove and talk to them the right way. But also like simple things like your fork seals, check those out. It's always a good idea to kick it up, spin the wheel, make sure the rims aren't bent, weird things like that. And also like overall, this bike's super clean by the way, but like upgrades, Jack, right? You want to talk about like what's been done to it or look at it overall, like what's up?
Yeah, so my bike's pretty simple, but it does have some work done to it. There's a little bit of head work on it, which you wouldn't be able to see unless it was a completely converted head. But you'll notice like pipes, like aftermarket pipes and silencers, chains, sprockets, handlebars, stuff like that. Mods aren't necessarily a bad thing, but when they're really overdone and they have like paragraphs and paragraphs of mods done to the bike, more likely than not, there's way too much done to it and the engine's not reliable anymore, especially if it's like they have valves listed, custom pistons, big bore kits. I always avoid big bore kits. They really tear up the crankshaft on those.
And also, if a guy put a big bore kit, that means he rode the shit out of it.
Yeah.
He's maxing out the power that it came with from the factory. He's like, I need more power, typically. So he's going to put a big bore kit and ride the shit out of it. So now, let's say, have you ever test rode a bike before you bought it?
Yeah, always.
Yeah? Are the guys pretty cool about it?
Yeah, usually they want cash in hand when you do it.
Yeah.
Or like collateral or something.
Yeah, it's like it's hit or miss, right? Like
yeah,
if they're cool with it or not.
But most of the time, if they're not cool with you test riding it, don't buy the bike. Because more likely than not, they don't want you riding it for a reason. Whether the wheels are off or the suspension's got a lot of play. A lot of times, we've got a couple bikes in right now where the rear shock is completely blown out, so we're rebuilding them. Like Larry said, with the fork seals, you can't really tell if a rear shock's leaking because once it leaks, it's already empty, and it's really easy to clean off.
Or what about the guys that buy bikes that don't start? Because we get that a lot here, actually.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before.
Having just like it won't even start, or I say, oh, it just needs a carb job.
Yeah, having a bike that doesn't start. We offer pre-purchase inspections, so that's always a route you can go. They're pretty cheap, about $150, and we go through the entire bike front to back. We check all the bearings, check the engine, compression, fuel system, everything on it. And then, like I said before, if it doesn't want to start, that's not the end of the world. It could be a fuel system. If it's a 4-stroke, it could be something simple like a valve adjustment. If it's to 2-stroke, though, more likely than not, you're just kicking it to test compression and the carburetor needs a tune. 2-stroke's pretty touchy on the tunes.
And all of that stuff would be covered in a pre-purchase inspection that we offer here, and a lot of other shops do too. So buyer beware. It's always a good idea to have it checked out. If you have any questions about it or anything, definitely take it to a spot and have it checked out. Most of the time, if the bike's legit and it's a good working bike, guy's going to actually want you to go take it to get checked out because it'll show how clean the bike is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another good thing to do is the radiator, pull the cap. Always check to make sure there's coolant in there. There's going to always be a little corrosion on it from like the burnt out coolant. That's fine, but if it's really built up, that's kind of a red flag. It means the bike's been running really, really hot. Another thing to check is on Japanese bikes, it's going to be under the seat, or on Yamahas, it's going to be up in the front. On European bikes on the side, but check the air filter. You can really tell how well a bike was taken care of depending on the air filter. It's always the one thing people forget to like maintain, especially when they're selling a bike. They change out the oil and everything real quick. Air filters take the quickest, but they're the hardest to get to.
If they're on a week-long camping trip in Glamis.
Yes.
Which we've seen, right?
Yeah. But like if they're cool about it, ask them to check the air filter, touch it yourself. If it's starting to flake off and peel, it needs a new one. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a red flag, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, a bunch of cool info, guys. Just want to do a quick video, give you guys a quick overview on how we like to approach buying and selling bikes, or in the service department and in the store. So, and on the personal end of it, right?
Yeah.
So cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. We are going to be doing some more in-depth stuff. We're going to show you guys how to do a compression test. So just a bunch of little things you could be checking. We just don't want to make the video too long, so we'll circle back to that. But we'll talk to you guys later.